Guy Code with Rena Osware.
Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. I am Rena Osware. Now, on this episode, we're going to be talking about lessons learned from the Tinder Swindler. Now, for any of you who love to watch Netflix documentaries, this is a documentary that took the world by storm. Everyone was talking about it about 2-3 weeks back. Immediately, it released. It really brought up a lot of conversations involving relationships, involving manipulation, involving toxic partners, involving lies, deceit. And this character, this persona, the Tinder Swindler, was really brought into the limelight, and everyone was scrutinizing how he was able to do what he did and how his actions impacted the victims, and if his actions are more common than we think. So, on today's episode, we're going to cover what lessons we can learn from this person, this documentary, and from the choices that this man made, Mr. Simon. So, number one is what you can learn is number one, be attractive. Now, one thing I noticed about the Tinder Swindler is that from the get-go, his profile, he made sure that he presented himself as a very attractive, high-value man, from how he dressed, from how he presented his lifestyle, the pictures he took. He really presented himself in the best way possible. So when you be attractive, not just genetics, having an up hand as far as genetics, but also presenting yourself in a good light, presentably, of course, and showing high value, definitely. From the get-go, it really got to attract the kind of ladies he wanted, and I think it was very intentional about that, in that you attract who you are, and that's something that you should never forget. You always attract who you are. Number two, you need to ask questions and listen, right? So listen to the answer accordingly so that it doesn't seem like it's an interrogation. So one thing that we got to follow up on as far as the Tinder Swindler is that he used to really involve and have meaningful discussions with these ladies in questions. As far as the date, ask several questions, seem very interested in them. And you have to understand, guys, that everyone's favorite person is themselves, and they like to talk about themselves. So when you're able to engage someone on their level and really engage their interests and operate with that framework so that you learn more about them and listen, definitely it's an easy way to show charisma, because now people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So ask questions and listen. He was a very good listener. He asked the right questions. He seemed very interested, very important. Another thing we can learn is that he provided an emotional roller coaster. He provided emotional variation in that he went from romance to all this fun to fear. Now, it's very important that for when you're meeting someone, or when, as far as this particular, we can call it a scam, right? It's very important that he really got to have an emotional attachment with these women early on, very from the get-go. And the way he achieved this is by providing emotional variation, very intense, high intensity emotion, by creating high intensity experiences, where it was always almost an emotional high with him. Whether you're having very romantic dinners with those ladies that he knew loved romantic dinners, to getting on a private jet, the excitement, to, going diamond shopping, to going, shopping for an apartment, a penthouse, to now, someone is in trouble, and it all seemed like a movie, and for people who are dopamine addicts, who like the excitement, they will feel, wow, look at me, look at how I'm living. This is almost like a movie. I met this billionaire guy, and now he has entrusted me, of all people, me, to help him out in this very trying time. Who would have thought? It really gives that sense of importance, that people really want to know. And this emotional roller coaster really got them to focus on him because you understand on Tinder, they definitely got other matches. But since he was able to provide this emotional roller coaster, this emotional variation, this high intensity experiences, he was not boring. He wasn't like the other guys. He really definitely stood out. And he made sure he stood out by providing such experiences. He definitely was able to have the full attention of these women. And this leads to my fourth point is that in the book Dale Carnegie wrote, he said, gives a feeling of importance. Provide that, remember, none of them considered why the Tinder swindler would go to them instead of going to his family or friends. So you understand that everyone wants to feel important. If you just met a billionaire within 3 weeks and you want and he's asking you for this huge amount of money, you should definitely be asking yourself why, what's going on, and why me? Because we just met the other day. Doesn't he have friends? Doesn't he have family? But since people love to feel important, they will write it off and said, well, of course, he will go to me because, I'm the most important person in his life, even though we've just met, what, a month ago, 1.5 months ago, 2 months ago. He really gave that feeling of importance, that feeling of, you could be the only one. And people like that feeling, women and men. Women, of course. It gives them the main character, feeds into people who have that main character syndrome. Like you're now the star of this whole movie that is transpiring, and you need to, come to the help of the love of your life, quote unquote. So it really fed into the feeling of importance that everyone needs. And lastly, women or people in general get attached from what you do to them instead of what you do for them. For example, the woman with the baby, she kept giving more and more. Now, you realized that the Tinder swindler, immediately he asked for the first sum. The first sum, definitely, the first ask he made, definitely you see that it caught all the ladies by surprise. Like, oh, okay, that sounds like a huge sum of money, but uh, they were a little bit anxious about it, but hesitant, but they gave it anyway. So the more they gave, the easier it became. And the easier it became, the more they got attached because now you're really investing your resources into someone and you're feeling that since I'm investing so much into someone, that means that they are important. That means that I love them. That means that they're, they hold this very significant place in my life because you keep investing in them. And this is something that he made sure he did because from one of the victims, unfortunate victims, she kept giving and giving in small sums, small sums, small sums. You will notice that he didn't ask for a large sum all at once. He didn't just come up with the ask of, give me $150,000. That's a huge sum. It definitely be no. You know, if she came out with that full sum, like just give me $150,000 right now, definitely everyone will say no. But it led up to that. And you notice that the more they gave them, easier it became because you do the first time, the second time, the third time, they kept giving and they got more attached. So the more these ladies gave, the more attached they became to him. And the more they felt that they could give more because it seemed like from their actions, you have to understand, guys, that you act, then you feel, not you feel, then you act. You get? So the more they gave, the more they felt and justified within themselves. I'm giving because I find this person as high value, I find this person as very important, I find this person as we will spend, the rest of our lives together. That's why I'm giving. And the more they believed him, you get, the more they believe that, this is for forever. And suddenly you is going to, promise you forever after just a few months of almost close to a year of meeting you, and they believed it because they're investing that much to gain that. So that's just a few lessons I wanted to share with you guys. Just to recap, is number one, be attractive. Okay, show all the qualities of the kind of person you want to attract. Number two, ask questions and listen. Number three, provide an emotional roller coaster. Don't be boring. Make an effort to stand out. Number three, people want to feel important. People want to feel significant. So make sure you use that to your advantage, right? And people get attached from what they do to you, what they do for you instead of what you do for them, right? And I think it's Benjamin Franklin who said one of the easiest ways to create a friend from afar is ask for a favor. Because when you ask for a favor from someone who may not like you and they do it, as I said, you act, then you feel. The fact that they will do it could actually check out in their brain that it seems I might have put some value in this person because I've done this for them. Because my resources and my energy is valuable. I give them something valuable. That means they should be valuable. And that's that. So these are just a few lessons I wanted to share with you guys. Lessons from the Tinder Swindler. I will make an effort to be more consistent with the uploads. I really value your feedback as we engage on Twitter at Guy Code Kenya. And until next time, guys, we shall talk soon. Bye.
Guy Code with Rena Osware.